Hello, I'm Faith, and welcome to Faith's Take, where I talk about anything and everything that I find interesting. And for you guys who weren't aware, Muppet Babies, a show that I grew up with very much back in the late 90s, is coming out with a reboot this year. I think it's actually next month in March of 2018, and I have always been open to it. For someone who grew up so much with the original, I've actually been very open to the idea of having one for like this new generation of little kids. Even when they said it was going to be computer animated, I'm like, if they do it well, I'm all for it. And the trailers finally came out. One, I believe, is like a 30-second teaser, and another is discussing a new character that has been introduced that's like, I think, a minute long. So I thought I would do... haven't seen them yet, so I thought I would do a reaction video. It's been a super long time since I've done one of those, and I always have fun with them, and you guys seem to really like them. For those who don't really know the show very well, you had the core Muppets in the original of Kermit, Fozzie, Gonzo, Piggy, Animal, Rolf, Scooter, and a character they invented, Skeeter, who was Scooter's sister. And they all were babies, like toddlers, and lived in like a little nursery together and just had imagination adventures. That one was hand-drawn, obviously, being in the 80s. This one is not only computer animated, but probably to cut the cost of having so many characters, they cut several of them out. Rolf, Scooter, and Skeeter are no longer in it. And there's a new character, a purple penguin named Summer, is what it looks like. But the core five of Kermit, Fozzie, Gonzo, Piggy, and Animal are all still there, it looks like. It doesn't mean we won't get cameos or other roles with some of the other characters eventually. That'd be really cool. There were episodes in the original where you had Bean Bunny or Statler and Waldorf would come as adults and be characters in it. So that'll be interesting to see if they do anything like that. But they announced this show, I think, back in 2016, so I was like, they're giving it a lot of time to, like, sit, and to work on it. That's a little weird. But I was open to it, and I was thinking, well, maybe that means they're putting a lot of work into it. And holy cow, have they. Just a few days ago, I looked into it again, because I kind of forgot about it for a little while. When I went to look up things about it, they had a lot of still images, and holy cow, they are gorgeous. And they're so good. Like, what gets me is, like, I have seen, commercials for the current crop of computer animated, like Disney Junior and whatever they call Nick Jr. now type of shows. Like, I think the best example I can think of is, I believe it's Sophia the First, is a princess show on Disney Junior. That's current. That is a big moneymaker for them. Like, I just went to Disney World this last fall with my family, and her character is represented in the parks. They have a lot of merchandise. Like, clearly, Sophia the First is a big moneymaker for the Disney little kids shows. It's very flat. There's very little lighting and shading, and all the textures are flat or just shiny. And those are some of the easiest things to do in computer animation texture-wise. Whereas these Muppets, like, they look like the actual puppets are there. Like, Kermit and Piggy have, like, that felt look to them. Fozzie just looks like the fluffiest teddy bear you've ever seen. Even Piggy's hair has, like, a shine to it. The feathers on Summer look a little different and, like, floofier. Gonzo has multiple textures on his face just like Gonzo does, which I think is really, really cool that they spent that much time and effort. Clearly the amount of money and effort that's gone into a reboot of Muppet Babies, which so far it doesn't look like they've marketed that well. They haven't pushed it too hard. But we finally got trailers, and we got voice actor announcements. The only one that, which I think will also be interesting to hear the voices for the first time here, but the only one who I noticed off the bat, or I guess there's two. Jenny Slate is Nanny. She's everywhere right now, so I'm not super jazzed. I don't really care. But the one I do care about is Eric Bauza as Fozzie, because he is Tiger Claw in the 2012 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles series, which I really enjoyed. So I thought that was pretty funny. So we're gonna buckle down and watch this together, and I don't know how much they'll actually show, because like I said, I think one's a teaser, one is more like a behind-the-scenes-ish little introduction to this new character. So let's dive in and see how this looks.
Psst, Kermit, you're on!
Oh yeah, thanks, Piggy.
Oh boy.
Hi-ho, good morning, America. Kermit the Frog here, with a special announcement introducing the newest Muppet in the Playroom, Summer Penguin. Yay!
Oh, so it's all about introducing this new girl, isn't it?
Hi, everybody! I can't wait to see you all in the playroom. But first, let's go out and play. Come on!
Did they just take animation they already had? Please tell me that's all they did. Can we see more? Oh boy. So that teaser is basically nothing. So, okay. That seems like something where they took animation for Kermit and Summer that already existed, because the lip sync was so bad, and then just put in the new words. I hope to heaven that's what they did, because it's just... like I said, textures and stuff are super good. In movement, if those are not the words that are supposed to be said, we have an issue. Or if those were the words that were supposed to be said. But let's try that other one now. Oh boy. Kermit's voice too, like, okay. And go.
We spent a lot of
they're
time.
so cute.
What kind of animal Summer? Is she an animal? Is she a human?
Creating the character really was Tom Warburton and the character
I have that
designers
Kermit
coming
pillow.
up with what this Muppet character would look like.
We came up with her and a couple other options, and we put them in front of the network, and they went right away.
She looks like one.
They just knew.
Like a
it was
Muppet.
penguin.
For this, we really wanted a girl. We wanted to add some balance to the group. She's artistic, she loves to dance.
Shots,
We knew
man,
that we
look at
wanted
that.
her to solve a problem through painting or dance or singing.
Summer's the
interesting.
first one to see what's happening. So they hear a sound in the closet, and Summer's the first one to say, "I think that's a dragon."
Okay.
Brave adventurers.
She just
I'll
loves
need to go
look at
back and
things her
see if
own
that
way
voice
and
was
say,
good. I
I can
wasn't-
paint this different than everyone else.
Now we can really start our adventure.
Okay, it looks better now, the
Any-
voice sync. Okay, good.
anytime.
Yep, I got
Okay, good. Okay, the voices. Okay, I was right. Clearly, the mouth movements in the original clip were not intended to be what they were saying, which is what I figured. Because those did not match well at all. So, but luckily it looked better right there. Let me take these out so I can hear myself. So, yeah, I think that, like, that doesn't give you, like, anything extra about the show at all. It's really just some visual shots, most of which were already available with the still images. But, they're super cute. I'm so excited for that. They're, like, just adorable, even if the scripts are, like, eh. They're super cute. I like that she's a penguin, because the Muppet Penguins were, like, they were in a lot of stuff. I think when you think of groups of almost identical animals that were used a lot in Muppets, it was chickens, penguins, and rats were the ones used the most. So I think making her a penguin's really cool. I do find it interesting that, like they said, oh, she's gonna have, of course, a big imagination, but she's gonna do things through, like, dance and song and things like that. And kind of are still making her kind of girly, because a part of, in the original, when you had the differences between the two female characters of Piggy and Skeeter, who was written just for the show, Skeeter was more, like, athletic and, like, tomboy-ish, and rough and tumble, especially because Piggy was a really girly girl, and her brother Scooter was, like, the nerd and, like, the smart one. So she could contrast to both. So to have Summer and have her just be, like, a normal girl, like, have them not push the tomboy aspects, it seems like, at all. I think that's actually good. I think that's interesting because, you know, just as someone who grew up with a lot of the 90s cartoons and teams and stuff, it's like you always had to have all the same archetypes of characters. So to have two girls and neither of them be a tomboy character in, like, a show that's for young kids, I actually think that's kind of nice. Just because I've seen that so many times, not against tomboy characters, of course, but I've just seen that dynamic a lot. So I think them actually changing that and not making her a copy of Skeeter also is very good and important, I think. So that's interesting. So, I mean, I think her design is really cute. She looks like... They made her purple, which I don't think the Muppet Penguins have ever been purple, but that's okay. I think she's cute. Purple is my favorite color, so I don't mind. But I really want to hear the other voices, like, a lot. Like, she sounds cute. Kermit, like I said, but a lot of people also can do basic imitations of Kermit, so really you could have picked, as long as the acting itself is good, you could pick a lot of people. Piggy also, it's like, I don't know, I think there's more nuance to what you could do with another young Piggy voice, but the two that I think are going to be hard are Fozzie, because Fozzie's kind of hard in general, whether it be young Fozzie or older Fozzie, I think it's just... No one has Frank Oz's voice, you know what I mean? And I mean, he did Piggy too, but I mean, there's something about Fozzie that is, like, so unique and that they still even have trouble with now. I've said before, if you've seen my my Muppet Movies Ranked video, Gonzo is bar none my favorite Muppet and basically, like, my favorite fictional character just of all time, and I really connect with that character a lot, and I actually think a lot of it comes from Muppet Babies, because when I was little, that was one of, like, the core 4 Muppet projects that, like, I watched all the time when I was little. Because it was Muppet Christmas Carol, Emmett Otter, which isn't even, like, normal Muppets, and then Muppets from Space, which is, I was like 4 when it came out, okay? But, and I'm sure between all that stuff, except for Emmett Otter, and that's when this is when I was like a baby, like a little bitty kid, to like, 5, 6 years old. Those being the core things, Gonzo plays a major role in each of those things. And I just remember loving episodes of Muppet Babies that featured Gonzo the most, even really, really little, which I think is really cool that this has been a character that I've consistently loved, so I really want to hear what this voice of his is going to sound like. No matter which version, whether it be Baby Gonzo or our normal Gonzo, always has a very distinct voice, but it always fits, so I'm hoping that they got someone like that. The designs, again, though, are so adorable and so perfect. Like, they look like you could touch them. They're, like, so fluffy. So, really what I want out of this, even if the show ends up not being good, can we just get some good merchandise? Like, I would love plush dolls of these guys. That would be amazing. I have plush dolls of, the main 4. I don't have an animal one, but of the other 4, I already have plush dolls of them. And several others, of course, and they're wonderful. Like, Disney's really good at Muppet plush dolls, by the way. Like, my Fozzie Bear and my Rolf are, like, the best teddy bears I've, like, ever had. I know Rolf's not a bear, but, like, basically a teddy bear. They're so wonderful and cozy and cute, so I would love to get, dolls of them, if nothing else. It looks super cute. I'm hoping that it is still cute and clever in the writing, like the original is, because, I mean, it's been a while, but, once I was like late teens, if not early 20s, I found a few of the old episodes on YouTube and watched a couple, and they are just really clever shows, and I know it's not just nostalgia blindness, because I am open to when I am nostalgia blind, for sure, and I'm sure there are moments of it that are more just like, oh, that's goofy for little kids, and I like that part because I was little. But there are a lot of references to things that happened in the Muppets that, with like the original characters that are in Muppet Babies that are really cool or really subtle or things like that. Like, of course, the 2 things that immediately came to my mind both involve Gonzo, because why wouldn't they? But he has a little stuffed animal chicken named Camilla, because that's his girlfriend in a lot of the adult variations. And then the thing, though, that I love, and I would really, really love if they bring it back, they might not, but if there's one thing one major aspect of the original that carries over character-wise, I really, really hope it's that Gonzo has a crush on Piggy, because way back in the original season of The Muppet Show, where both their characters were, like, officially introduced, he did, and it's hilarious. And so Muppet Babies, I believe through the entire run of the show, Baby Gonzo has a crush on Baby Piggy, and it's hilarious, and they play with it really well, and so I really hope that stays, because it's a really cute, innocent thing that's in there that's really fun to watch. So far, I mean, if they put half the work into the scripts and voices that they did with the animation, we're gonna at least get a decent show, if nothing else. And, I've seen some people be like, well, it's just for little kids, but that doesn't mean it can't be good. And I think I've seen the 2 arguments, some being like, oh, they're gonna ruin it because it's a reboot, blah, blah, blah. And then the other where it's like, well, it's just for little kids. Both of those, in my opinion, are wrong. Because, yes, it's for little kids. And yes, it will be different than the original. But you can still pay homage to the original and still be good. You can also be for little kids and still be good. People seem to be giving it an excuse like, well, it's for little kids, so it doesn't have to be anything like the original, and if you don't like it, well, too bad. And I'm just like, you can still want to like it, though, and you can still have standards, just like for any cartoon. So I'm in the middle there, where I'm just like, there are gonna be changes, but it doesn't just have to be for little kids. I think it can be enjoyable as it is, I mean, at least from a visual standpoint. Like, this looks like it could be a show that you could watch on mute and, like, still enjoy it. But yeah, I mean, I'm extremely optimistic. I'm looking forward to it, and when it comes out, I will have to do a review for you guys, actually. Like, I hope you're interested, because I am. I'm doing it either way, but I hope you're also interested. So, if you've actually stuck around this long for a Muppet Babies trailer review, thank you very much. I'm excited, so Alright, thanks again, and I'll see you guys later.